Okay, take two on this because I actually started one and I realized that there were not enough tiers for all these fifth tier monkeys in the game. So I'm gonna be doing a tier list for all the fifth tier monkeys plus the paragons plus the vengeful true sun god in this game. And I'm not gonna be doing heroes in this one because I already did a video on all the heroes in the game that I just uploaded. So I'll leave a link to that in the description, and you guys can go check that out if you want. Keep in mind that this video is made for beginners. So if I mean, actually, you know what? You can come back if you're a pro. You can judge my outlook on the game. But it's meant for beginners. People who want to figure out what they want to play. This tier list is going to be mainly for those kind of people. So we're just going to start off in primary, make our way down to support, and then we'll finish it off with paragons. So I'm going to put the Ultra Juggernaut in usable. You know, it does what it needs to do, and that's killing balloons. It does not do anything to Moabs, which is the reason it's unusable. And if you're doing the cross path, you're either getting range, which isn't very good, or attack speed, which gives it awful range. So it's kind of the cross paths are pretty bad either way. This thing just isn't very strong, I think. Now permacharge, I'm actually gonna say this thing's strong. This thing does a lot of damage, especially when you use that ability. This thing just tears through other things, especially those Moab class balloons and regular balloons too. So this thing's strong. Glaive Lord is decent. Um, it's okay. It does what it needs to do. Those glaives that circle around it are not very strong. The glaives that it throws aren't super strong, but it's definitely better than an Ultra Juggernaut. This thing's garbage. Um, if you're new to this, don't ever buy this thing unless you're going for Paragon. But this thing is hot garbage. Its ability is literally the worst of the game. I don't know why you would ever use it. Plus, it's like the most expensive Dart Monkey path. It's terrible. Now I'm actually gonna go put the Crossbow Master in very strong because one reason. Well, I guess a couple reasons, but you can get two of these guys, which is very strong. Um, it shoots very fast. Its range is massive. Plus, you can buff it with both Alchemist, which makes it very strong. Plus, a primary expertise village, which also makes it very strong. So this guy's really good all around. Not great by himself, but if you buff it with the even like spend a couple $1,000s on buffs for this guy, he becomes very good. I'm also gonna put the Moab domination in strong. He does very good against Moab class balloons. Obviously, he's horrible against regular balloons. But he set this guy in strong. Give him a couple buffs. He's gonna get a couple million pops before you go for that boomerang monkey paragon. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't use this thing very much, like at all. So I'm just gonna put it where I think it goes. It does decent against balloons. I'd say it's decent. I'd say the this guy is bounce. I can't remember their names. And then cluster, whatever it's called. This thing's balanced too. It does what it needs to do. Now we have Ring of Fire. I'd also say this thing's balanced. It's all right. It's not. I hardly ever use it again. It just doesn't do a ton of damage. Blade Maelstrom, Super Maelstrom, it's usable. I'd say the only time it's really good is when there are a lot of balloons on the screen, and especially for something like Bloonarius, where you need to just take care of all those balloons that are spawning very quickly. And our first overpowered is going to be the Tag Zone. This thing is absolutely insane. Buff it with a village, buff it with an alchemist, whatever you're going to do. This thing is absolutely busted. For a very cheap price, you can kind of put it anywhere and it's going to melt everything. That guy is very strong. Super brittle. I'm going to put him in balance. He does what he needs to do. Honestly, I think all of the ice monkeys, well, I'd say these are decent. Super brittle is definitely the best. They again do what they need to do, but maybe not as well as they should, which is why they're going to be decent. So next we have the Balloon Solver. This guy is strong, especially against balloons. He doesn't really do anything against Moabs. Challenges, Bloonarius. This guy is going to melt those balloons, absolutely melt ceramics, everything. Now we have the World Glue Super Glue Sprayer, whatever it's called. He's usable. I don't use him very much at all. It's pretty garbage in my opinion, but I guess there's some scenarios where you can use it. And then super glue. This guy's balanced. Does what he needs to do. So we have the Moab cripple. Cripple, is that what this thing's called? Strong. You definitely plop one of these guys down, and you don't really worry about it. You send him to strong. You don't even have to give him any buffs. Maybe camo detection, and he racks up pops like crazy. He stops those Moabs like crazy, and yeah, just all around really strong. The one guy that gives you, I don't even know what this guy does, to be honest, man. He's garbage. He doesn't really do anything at all. I'm gonna be completely honest. This guy, don't use this guy ever. Elite defender, usable. He's okay. Supply drop. I can't remember if this is the one with the supply drop or this is the one with the supply drop, but either way, it sucks. So it doesn't really matter. They're both not very strong. You're basically never gonna use this guy's 4 times shooting ability when a balloon crosses the end, because by the time you have this guy in game, if a balloon crosses the end, you're basically going to die in one shot anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. A plutonium reactor, this thing is still balanced, I'd say. It's not super strong. It's not decent. Does what it needs to do. Pops balloons, reveals all those camos. Honestly, I'd rather go for a 4th tier than a 5th tier. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put this thing in decent. Considering the 4th tier does almost the exact same thing as the 5th tier, you don't really even need a 5th tier. You just need a 4th tier. Preemptive strike. It's balanced. Does decent damage against Moabs. It's kind of all he does. Sub commander, this guy's very strong because you can just spam subs, especially with that monkey knowledge that gives you the map wide buff, because this guy buffs all other submarines, if you didn't know. So this guy buffs all submarines in the game. And if you get that, he becomes definitely one of the best towers in the game, because the sub spam strategy is definitely a viable strategy out there where you just place tons and tons of advanced intel subs. Aircraft carrier. I'm going to say balanced. It does what it needs to do, like a lot of the things in this tier list. So, yeah, you can place some towers on top of it. It's all right. The Pirate Lord. This guy is decent. I mean, spamming his ability is okay. You know, it's alright. Now, this one's actually going to come as a surprise to people, because obviously as a tower, this thing is hot garbage. But one of my favorite strategies in the game is to go for the 20 merchantmen, 10 marketplaces strategy. And I think this guy is very strong, because that money-making method is honestly one of the best in the game. The only reason he's not overpowered is because not all maps have enough water for you to get 20 Buccaneers down, which obviously is not that many maps. But this, if you can get this thing with 20 other Buccaneers, it is literally, you get money so fast, so efficient. You get tens and tens of thousands around, and it's very, very easy to set up, especially if you're setting up for Vengeful True Sun God. Sky Shredder, decent. Legs your game. Sarbomba, it's usable. It doesn't really do a ton. I'm actually I want to go a little bit quicker on these, so I'm just kind of going to shotgun through them really quick. Flying Fortress, strong. It's very expensive though. Otherwise it'd be very strong. It's a very strong tower, very expensive. Does what it needs to do. Apache Prime, this thing is very strong. Does very, very strong against balloons, especially maps like Infernal, where you need that like map wide coverage. Helicopters just in general are very good. And now the Chinook. This thing is pretty garbage. Honestly, your special operations. Actually, yeah, this thing is not very good at all. Apache Commander, this thing is usable. I don't know why you wouldn't just go for an Apache Prime. Both of these are pretty pointless. You're really only going to need this thing. Biggest one, I'm going to say strong, because it just deals with those balloons like crazy. Same for Balloon Incineration, that thing is strong. Papanaut is usable. It's not great at all. Ray of Doom is balanced. It's very expensive. Doesn't do a ton, but the MAD is definitely very strong. Borderline overpowered, but it does cost a hefty, like almost $70,000, I think, in hard mode. So, yeah. The Bez Balloon Exclusion Zone is strong. You know, it does what it needs to do. It can target balloons automatically, so you don't really need to worry about hovering your mouse or locking in one place. Now the Archmage, this guy's strong. Same for the Wizard Lord Phoenix. They're both kind of in their same category. Only because I don't know why you wouldn't just go for this guy every single game. The Prince of Darkness is literally probably one of the best towers in the game right now. Even though I believe he got some nerfs, he is still insane. He does so much. So I'm going to go ahead and save the True Sun God for the last because that guy does get pretty interesting. And the anti-balloon, I personally really only get him when I'm going for Vengeful True Sun God. He's strong. His ability is really strong. Now, Dark Legend of the Night, I can't remember exactly what his name is. This guy is also strong. Again, probably one of the most expensive towers in the game. But that ability that he has when balloons get to the end, where he just kind of makes, like, he nullifies all that, basically. That's pretty strong. His shadow travel ability is okay. I don't really have any use for it in game. Grandmaster Ninja, very strong. Only because as a tower himself, he's like decent at best, but very strong because of the 20 ninja strategy where you can go for a ton of 0-3-0 or 1-3-0 ninjas next to this guy that will give him up to 20 buffs that just make him insanely strong. Grand Saboteur this one's tough because as a tower, obviously he doesn't do anything. But with his ability, if you have a tech bot or you just really want a mundane, spam it the whole game, I'd say this guy's pretty strong. His ability does a lot. He gets a ton of pops, which is very, very nice for the Ninja Paragon. Master Bomber is decent. He does decent damage to those Moabs, However, in boss modes, this guy is awesome because he just targets a boss and doesn't do anything else except for the boss. So, yeah, this guy's pretty good. Obviously, our next overpowered is going to be Permabrew. This guy's insane. You need him in almost everything. He is expensive, but it is 100% worth it. Total Transformation. I'm gonna say usable. Usable or garbage. Low tier usable. He is not that good. I barely ever use him. Blue Master Alchemist is decent. The only time I really use him is either if I'm just trolling around with friends or I went for that mini balloon achievement where you can make all your balloons small. Thunder God, whatever this guy's called, freaking Thor. Oops. I don't know what this guy does. He's decent, I guess. I don't use him a lot again. So bash on me if you want, because maybe this guy's really strong, but I'm not sure. Druid of the Forest, Spirit of the Forest. Again, I don't really use this one a lot, I'm going to be completely honest. So I'd say he's balanced, He makes you a lot of money. He is kind of expensive, but, he does have that map-wide coverage, which is very strong. Now, our next overpowered is going to be the Avatar of Wrath, especially with the Oben Greenfoot strategy where you just put down 6 druids. Absolutely bananas. No pun intended. This guy's insane. Insanely strong. Banana Central. Honestly, I think it's strong. I think it's probably one of the better banana farms in the game, especially if you get an actual banana farmer. Very strong. Monkeynomics. This one's decent. I guess the upgrade before it, the 4th tier, is really bad. I honestly would really only go for 3rd tier banks, just straight banks. I never really upgrade to this one because it's kind of pointless. I mean, that ability that gives you $10,000 like every minute. At that point in the game, you're making enough money that's not really going to be doing that much. And then Monkey Wall Street. This thing is also strong, especially like what I said with the Trade Empire strategy. This guy makes you tons of money. I remember like even just using that strategy, this guy has like $300,000 generated by round like not even 200, like 180 or something. Super Mines, borderline balanced and strong. I'm actually gonna say balanced, maybe even high decent. Actually, changed my mind. Just because he costs so damn much. This guy costs a ton, an absolute ton. And while it does do a lot of damage to DDTs especially, it's just, it's not super reliant, and it just costs so much money. The spike I don't even know what this one's called again either. I can't remember any other name for the life of me, but the map wide spike storm, it's usable. I don't really ever use it just because it's not that good. You know, you can use it in some scenarios. It's I don't really see the use of it other than maybe some challenges or like a Blunarius. Other than that, it's gonna be pretty awful. Permaspike is overpowered. This thing's almost essential in almost all of your games because it's a lifeline. If anything gets past your defenses, this thing's gonna stop it for sure. Primary expertise, I say strong to very strong. This is probably one of the best villages in my eyes, just because it has that attacking ability, which doesn't really do a lot, but the primary buffs that it gives all those primary monkeys, especially in conjunction with either of the boomerang monkeys or your tag zone or crossbow masters, this thing is nutty with those guys. And then homeland defense, also strong. This thing is overall very good. You know, with that little boost that it gives everything else, it is pretty strong. Monkeyopolis, it's decent. The only time I've really ever used it when I was like kind of trolling around on the corn map where you get like 40 plus banana farms in and you're making like $180,000 a round. I guess it's kind of nice if you don't want to waste monkey money on farmers, but other than that, it's not great. Engineer, what do they call it now? They don't call it Paragon. Engineer Lord, Engineer, or Sentry, Master, I don't even know what they call it. It's usable, pretty bad. The explosion thing on the sentries is awful. Ultra Boost is strong. He can buff every tower in the game, make them a lot better. XXL Trap, decent. I don't really ever use it. Yeah, it's alright. Okay, Sun God I'm actually going to leave out because most people aren't going to be getting a True Sun God without going for a Vengeful True Sun God, so I'm just not even going to rate this guy. So Vengeful True Sun God obviously is S tier. This guy's insane. And now this is in comparison to all these. Obviously, Vengeful True Sun God is going to be better than every single thing on this list. But in their own tier list, that's where these guys are going to be going. He's not garbage. But Vengeful True Sun God is arguably more powerful than all the Paragons. Apex Plasma Master, in comparison to other Paragons, is decent. Definitely the worst one. By far the worst one. I would not go for this over a Ninja or a Boomerang. That being said, Boomerang is low strong, probably. Low strong. And Ninja is high strong. Ninja's very good with that Moab popping power, those shadow bombs or whatever they're called that it throws out. And then finally, last tower in the game, Knave Arc of the Seas. I'm sure you all know where this is going. This thing is absolutely overpowered. Maybe even deserves its own tier. This is the only tower I've gotten past like 2 billion pops in one game. It is bonkers how good this thing is. It automatically reels in anything below a bad. ZOMGs, DDTs, all of that gets automatically reeled in, plus that bad ability doesn't even account for fortified bads. This thing doesn't have a care in the world. You can have it at tier 1 and it's going to be better than like a tier 100 Apex Plasma Master. Absolutely insane. So that's my tier list. Like I said, I was ranking all the heroes in a different tier list, so I'll link that video in the description. But I know this one got a little long, but I think it's worth it for beginners who want to watch this video to start to know like what heroes they should play, what monkeys they should level up. So yeah, that's my tier list. Thanks for watching.